Hello, it's Mara from Houseplants, New Jersey. Today we're going to be talking about my aurea. Now, I had it under, now over here I have like two Santee grow lights, and on this side I have one. So I had it under the side with two, and it started browning. So I moved it onto the side with one and to the far side. Okay, so it's going to be in that area right there. Now I want to get it on a moss pole, but I don't want to change it out of this little pot here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on a moss pole because there are aerial roots coming out. So I want to put it on a moss pole, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this moss pole and I'm going to put it right behind the plant, and then I'm going to plant Velcro it to the little tiny pot. Let me angle you down. So I'm going to take this, put this in here, and I'm going to plant Velcro it to that little pot. Okay, so we got it on there nice and tight. All right, we're not going to put any dirt in the bottom of this moss pole, but we are going to put it into a catch pot. Okay, we have a new leaf coming in right here. We have the aerial root in the moss pole, which is great. Okay. Hold on one second. I don't really like the way that's going. I want it to go that way. There we go. So we want it in the middle. Okay. So we have a new leaf coming in. It is fenestrated, which is exciting. I don't know what color it's going to be. I burnt this leaf over here under the grow light, but we are going to be putting some moss into the moss pole. All right. Now, because we're going to wait to plant this up, we're going to wait to change the soil. So I don't mind if the moss goes all the way down to the bottom because I could always take that out. But I do want to be able to water the aerial root that's in there. Okay. So if the next leaf starts growing up, if the next leaf starts growing an aerial root, we want that in there too. That's where I'm going with this. So fill that moss pole up. I have a stick here, a stake. You see that stake? I'm going to push that down in there. All right, fill it up. And that's like kind of like one less thing we have to do when we actually change the soil out in the spring, probably. Because the roots are pretty good in there as of right now. We don't have to upsize it yet, but I wanted to get used to a moss pole. These are touchy plants. You give them too much light, you give them too much water, and they start browning. So even though they're leaves, and it's funny because I don't know if you guys have Monstera aureas or not, but their leaves are actually kind of thicker than most Monstera. Maybe a leathery kind of texture. So yeah, so they are sensitive. They need a lot less light than an elbow or a tie, but yet they have a thicker leaf. And a deliciosa has like really dark leaves, but they need more light too. So I just, for me, this is a new plant and I'm excited about it. I want everything to go right with it. Of course, these are not beginner friendly at all. All right, so now we have it on the moss pole. It's going to be a little tricky. So I didn't need to use a plant Velcro to keep it in the moss pole because I do have an aerial root on there. So all I'm concerned about is that aerial root rooting in. Okay. And you do see my brown spots that are on the yellow portion. I mean, there's nothing I could do about that now, but what I did do is I moved it to a lower light area because what I have here, let me show you. I have a lamp. I have 3 lights. Okay. Let me see if I can up it a little more, maybe. I have 3 lights on that lamp. There's one here. There's one here. And there's another one behind that. And that, so the 2 over here, that's where I had it originally, right here. But I did want this to be on a moss pole, and we're going to put this back where it belongs, and I'm keeping it, as you can see, in a lower light situation. Okay, so now I might need to put a rock or something in there to keep it upright. Okay, so but yeah, definitely if you get yourself a Monstera aurea, definitely don't keep it in super high light. Those leaves will burn. Okay. Even though they're a little bit of a thicker texture, they will burn. And like I said, I wanted to keep it on a moss pole, so that it'll grow up the moss pole and have extra roots so I could propagate it later on. But it is a little more sensitive. So just keep that in mind if you think of purchasing one. All right. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye.